So, welcome to Bhakti Steps. We'll continue with Science of Self-Realization, Chapter 7. So, the prayers on my screen. You can chant with me. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagadam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Uttapatagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sachivam साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखन्विताम हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानु सुदेवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भैव जगतितानां कामनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome to Corporate Gita. Bhakti Steps. So last time we read this poem and we entered into this discussion. This is Prabhupada's address at Nairobi. Yeah, we read all of this. Majayate Miyate Vakatachin. Okay, so we got somewhere here. I'm private. Okay. Okay. So, can you start reading? Therefore, we should not. Okay, sure. Go ahead. One. So, this is a very important verse. Ishyavasam idam sarvam. So, we see so many things in this universe. It is controlled by Isha. Isha, it is not say Manushya. It doesn't say Manushya. What it says? Isha. Isha means there is a controller. Okay, there is a controller who is controlling it. And we should accept those things which are necessary for ourselves. And we should not transgress others' quota because that belongs to them. So it's like a family. The family divides the food so that everyone can eat and be satisfied, isn't it? The father, the parents, they divide the money so that everyone can be educated, their physical needs can be taken care. but it has to be divided. It cannot be transgressing the quota of one to other, right? And if suppose a child may say, no, I want more, then the mother will come and explain, how can you have more? Your brother needs to have, your sister needs to have. So you should be happy with what you get. Same way in this universe, there are so many beings. Human beings, just one being. There's animals, there's terrestrial, there's aquatics. There are so many things. Everyone has their own quota. So human beings should only focus on their quota. Now, why such a thing is told to human being? We discussed this sometime back, but I'll again say we had this food pyramid. No? Um, this is food pyramid. I guess I wanted something else. Okay. This is the ecosystem. Yeah, I wanted to see ecosystem. So if you look at this pyramid, this is the energy pyramid. So here there are uh, plants. They are eaten by primary consumers. These primary consumers are eaten by secondary consumers. These secondary consumers are eaten by tertiary consumers. Now, if you see in this pyramid, where is human being? Where is human being? You take any animal kingdom, even herbivorous and all that, you know, where are the human beings? Can you tell? The thing is, animals, and in that aquatics, terrestrial, everybody, they are very much focused on their quota. They don't transgress any other quota. But a human being can disturb anybody else's quota or everyone's quota, right? Today, because of pollution, we are disturbing the animals. The animals are becoming extinct, right? And why they are becoming extinct? Because of human beings, exploitation, over exploitation, deforestation, climate change, etc. Because of excessive hunting. So this instruction of Ishavasamidam Sarvan is given to human being because he can disturb this whole ecosystem, right? He can disturb this whole ecosystem. Very rarely some things become the animals can become larger in number. Very rarely it happens, but it is very frequently that human beings can disturb this whole pyramid, ecological pyramid, isn't it? Whether on the earth or underwater, it can disturb everything. So human beings have to know that everything is controlled by Isha, the Ishvara, and accept only one's quota. And in that they will be happy and peaceful. See, this is what the scientists have said. But see, the thing is, human beings can be vegetarian and they can be non-vegetarian. So they can affect any layer of the food. Okay. Yeah. Predominantly, they have to be vegetarian because our body is also made like that. But human body can consume meat also. Okay, in a limited quantity, not too much quantity, but in limited quantity. Because human beings, it has this body. Human body has a uh, higher purpose. Of course, that higher purpose is moksha to break the cycle of birth and death and all that. Okay, so it has the capacity to be vegetarian, non-vegetarian, various sequences, but in various scenarios and situations. Yeah. Yeah. See, Ishopanishad, who wrote it? Now that sage name is not there actually. It's one of the shortest Upanishads. It's just. 18 verses of Upanishad. That's it. So it starts with uh, first saying who controls everything, and then it develops of how this world is, and then who is the controller, and how to achieve that controller, and then at the end it ends with a prayer to the controller. Hmm. So this is like the prayer. These three, last three, four of them is like prayer. So yeah, Upanishads now. Who wrote it? Uh, um, so Vyasadev, he compiled all this. So all this knowledge was there in, say, let's say one body, and he foresee the um, Kali Yuga, and he started dividing it, categorizing it, and all that. So it, yeah. Yes, this realization is wanting. Yeah, just hold on. So here, there is concept of spiritual communism. The spiritual communism means all the living entities within the house are to be satisfied. So Grahastha has to follow this. So in the olden times, right, if you have any experience of village life and all, you will see that they would keep food for the animals also. They were pets, especially the cow, but there were other animals also. They were taken care. The dog was also given food, and the ants also were given. Some in one corner, some food was kept for the ants. And um, those who are coming from brahmanical family, uh, they must have observed that while eating food, first small portion of that food is kept outside, right, outside of the plate, and then water is sprinkled three times around it, if you remember. So the concept is that this food that I've kept is for the living entities. I'm not eating alone. I'm giving some part of my food for the living entities. That was the concept. So this is spiritual communism, where you take care of other beings. One more thing I want to say is that today so many mosquitoes, cockroaches are there, but we have developed ways to exterminate it, right? And our ways are very brutal, actually. In one sense, now they're very brutal. But in the Vedic time, na, they were not so brutal. What was the way of getting rid of mosquitoes? Do you know? Cow dung was antiseptic, yes. Sometimes cow dung was used that it was burnt, but most of the time, na, the neem leaves. The neem leaves are burnt. Now, do the mosquitoes die because of inhaling that, or what actually happens? They fly go away other way, right? But in today's our solutions are very brutal. We basically do mass killing in one sense. Our poisonous gas actually kill us also and kill them also. What was the other way in Vedic times to drive away mosquitoes? There were these mosquito nets, right? Which today we don't use, but mosquito nets. I remember like 30 years, 40 years back also people were using. So they are very effective. The mosquito doesn't die, okay, and you are also safe. So anyway, the mosquito doesn't live more than few days, so it dies a natural death. And for ants and all that, they would spread cow dung on the floor. So if cow dung is spread, right, it acts as a natural antiseptic. So other living entities like ants and all, they may not come on this cow dung until it becomes dry or something like that. But it would ward off basically. So our today's ways are very brutal actually, if you see. Even in case of slaughterhouses, now previously also in the Vedic times, there were people who were eating non-veg. So what is the difference between they eating non-vegetarian food and today's people eating non-vegetarian food? What is the difference? Naturally grown is fine, that is fine, but these are farmhouse, okay, that is also fine. Yeah, but there is some major difference. What would happen then and what is happening today? In slaughterhouse, there were never slaughterhouses. First of all, there were shops, and they would kill only few animals per day. But in today, in slaughterhouses, 5,000 animals are killed per day in one slaughterhouse. Like this, there are hundreds of slaughterhouses, and it number goes in thousands actually. But in the Vedic time, or even let's say 100 years to 150 years back, it was never killing was never done on a mass scale. That's what I'm trying to say. It was never done on a mass scale because of the concept of spiritual communism. Okay, you are dependent on non-vegetarian food, but you won't do it like a mass killing. One or two you may kill, and that also monthly only 2 3 times. That's it. Hmm? If you today also look at African what consum, yeah, it has become no comfort food. It was never planned to be a comfort food. It is only food which is rarely to be taken actually in one sense. Because if you are in the forest and all that, you may not grow grains and all. So once a while, eating non-vegetarian food was like that. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. But today it is every day, na? Yeah. And then how the nature reacts? The nature reacts with diseases, right? I mean, someone can say, right, my forefathers were also eating meat, but I am getting disease and they were not getting. Why? Because they were eating in a controlled fashion, not like today, day, morning, evening, day, and not just India, but other countries. It is terrible. It's even more terrible. Anyway, so I agree, but we need to be aware that our methods are very brutal today. So I fully agree. I fully agree. There is no doubt in it. Okay. And see, let's not think in that way. Think in this way that how we can uh, balance it out. Okay. What ways today we have is definitely extremes. That's what I'm trying to say. If we can balance out, then it will be helpful. Like, some like sometimes devotees, they clean their houses and all that, then they get some insects and all. They will not kill it. They'll just collect it and they will throw it in the outside garden. Yeah, that's what one time Prabhupada also did. There was one cockroach, and then devotees looking, and the cockroach was running here and there. Prabhupada caught it, opened that window, and he told, "Now you have the whole world to enjoy," and he threw it away. So basically, we should have that concern of a living entity got a body from Krishna, right? And he has a right to actually live till his natural death. As much as we have right, he also have the right. So we should as much try to allow that right, and execute our mercy quality. That's what I'm trying to impress. Mm. Now, in case of malaria and all that, I fully agree. If malaria is going on everywhere, dengue is going on everywhere, you have to take serious steps. You have to take serious steps. So in that it may involve, but it is not done. It is not done like on a everyday basis. Anyway, so I'm just saying, that yeah, have a balanced outlook. Okay, okay, wait. Why do you think Prabhupada says at least the intelligent people should understand this concept? Yeah. See, in every country now, there are some leaders. And they are leaders because of various qualities. Okay. They may have some fame, name, knowledge, strength, wealth. If these people, they become natural leaders over there, people follow them. Okay. Even renunciates also. If these people take to Krishna consciousness, then the locals, the common man will take it too easily. And Krishna says here in Bhagavad Gita 3.21. Yeah, we can continue. No, read this. Yeah, okay. Yad, yad. Yeah. So, yad, yad, acharati shrestha. Shrestha. Important people, you can say like that. Great people. So, can you list down who are the great people? Who are the natural leaders of the society? Hmm? There are three, four types actually. On a society level, on a kingdom level, it is king or the governments, the officials. At a family level, it is the parents. At our local level also, their teachers are also leaders. So yeah, they are acharati shreshtas. All these three, four, if they take to Krishna consciousness, to dharmic life, and paradharma life. Paradharma is spiritual life. Then common people will follow. So we should understand it's not just the king governments, but actually even the parents, teachers, those who are in elder or commanding positions. Okay. A devotee always feels, just wait. After. A devotee always feels compassion. See, this is one point I was saying. A devotee will feel compassion because um, he will have a balanced outlook to the world. And Krishna and Prabhupada gives the example of Lord Jesus Christ. For instance, he was greatly affected by miserable conditions of the people. Regardless of which country or sect they belong, all Vaishnavas or devotees, any people who are God conscious or Krishna consciousness are thus compassionate. Um, just let me just check how big this is. Quite long. Okay, no problem. A devotee always feels compassion. Okay. Okay. Can someone read? Does someone else want to read? Anyone wants to read? Okay, sure. Okay. Um, yeah. So in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukdev, Sukdev Goswami, yes, he explains the Vedic cosmology. Um, there is modern cosmology and there is Vedic cosmology. So from the Vedic cosmology, he explains and he tells about not this, yeah, he tells how this one universe is. There are 14 planet system. There is it's half filled with water. On that there is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. From his navel comes Brahma, the engineer, and he creates the 14 planet system which is going around this navel. Above ones are called Swargaloka. Bhuloka is the middle one. Below ones are the Patal Loka. And then what all happens here, some small descriptions are given. And in that, when he starts speaking about Patal Loka, he says there is a place where living entities who have done wrong karma are brought here and they are punished. And after they are punished, they are being rectified, and then they take back to the cycle of evolution from one body to another to get to human body. So hearing the pains of the living entities undergoing in the Patala Loka, in the hellish planets, Parikshit Maharaj becomes very concerned. He says, um, I am a king and I have also punished many criminals. Okay. But what happens with these criminals? When they come out of jail, they again do the same crime. Okay. So is there a way by which they can avoid this elephant bath? He uses the analogy of elephant bath. How many of you have seen elephants taking bath? Yeah, first they take bath in the water. Very nice bath they'll take. Yeah. And then they'll take a mud bath. Yeah. They take because the ants on the body and all that can be cleaned off and all that. There are various reasons. But human beings don't do such thing. Once they take bath nicely in the clean water, they avoid mud and all that. So what he meant by that is that we may send them to hellish planets, but after coming out, because they will still commit crime. So then, what is the point of sending them and bringing them back and all that? Is there some better way for that? So that was his question. So in that regards, I guess there's a story of Ajamil that happens. Let's see as we read. Let's see if Prabhupada explains the story of Ajamil, or I'll tell you. Here. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I will share a video of the Cosmos link. It's a very nice video. This video I will share of how the Vedic cosmos is. Anyone has seen these videos? Okay, okay. I will share this video. You can watch in detail. How the cosmos is explained. Okay. Hmm. Go ahead. Krishna God. Yeah. So here, Prahlad Maharaj says that he is having no anxiety because he's pure devotee, and pure devotee doesn't have na sochati na kamshati. He doesn't desire, neither he's lamenting. But he has one anxiety. When he sees that others are not taking to spiritual life, to Krishna consciousness, he takes that anxiety. And that anxiety is actually Krishna's own anxiety. In Bhagavad Gita, he says, right, Yada yada hi dharmasya glane bhavati bharat. I again and again I come to establish dharma, to protect my devotees, like that. So that anxiety of Krishna is taken by Prahlad Maharaj also, where Krishna attracts his devotees back to his spiritual kingdom. And Prahlad Maharaj says there are many who are uninterested, and I will talk to them, I'll preach to them, I will convince them to take to Krishna consciousness. So this is the anxiety that he's taking. Maya Sukhaya. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Tell. Yeah, that is there. Um, yes, I was going to put that shloka only. हाँ, भारत भूमि ते ब्रह्म पहले मनुष्य जन्म यार जन्म सार्थक करी कर परोपकार. This is the verse that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. 9.41. In Chaitanya Chamrita, Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Bharat bhumi te hoile manusya janma jat, janma sarthak kari kar paropkar." So if we have taken birth in this Bharat bhumi, where when its various rivers are there, the Brahmanical culture is protected in this area. Okay, generally Bharat bhumi is a very big bhumi. Okay, the whole earth is there, but in that also this particular sect of land where the many rivers are there, na Ganga, Yamuna, Godavari, Saraswati, Kaveri, Sindhu, Krishna, all these are very holy rivers. And here the dharma is protected, here the brahmanica culture is protected, the varnashram system is protected. In such a place, when one takes birth, they should do one thing: janma sarthaka kare, perfect your life, kara para upkar, and then you do upkar, benefit to others. Yeah, first is take yours. Yeah, if you have flown in, if you have taken flights in aeroplane, if you remember, the air hostess, what she says, if there is a air pressure issue, then something from top will fall, basically the mask will fall. And then what she says, if you have a child, first you put the mask on your mouth, then you put it on your child. Why? Why the air hostess have to say this every time, domestic, international, from last so many years? Why? Because they have seen that if the parents, they panic, and to save their child, they lose their life. Okay, so they first say janma sarthaka kari, first protect yourself, then you can protect your dependents, like that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that we should follow the sadhana, our sadhana, sadachar and seva very nicely. And at the same time, while learning all this, studying all this, we should do paropkar to the best of the possibilities. Like paropkar means, um, we can start with small also. The preaching, the distribution of Vedic literature, everything can be done at a very small pace, small quantity over a period of time. Then with experience, with maturity, you can increase this paropkar. This is what it means. So definitely association of other peoples, they do affect. So our daily sadhana should be nicely done. Our weekly association should be nicely taken. Okay. Then the influence will be there, but it won't affect us. Okay. And we cannot avoid. Yeah. Holy rivers. Holy rivers. It is the holy rivers. And Swayam Bhagwan has appeared here and did lot of pastimes. So generally, Bharatvarsha would mean the whole planet. Okay. So in the time of Parshuram, he 21 times he killed so many Kshatriyas, right? So in fear of Parshuram, they spread to faraway places, and that's how population grew in these places. These faraway places. Fear of Parshuram. Yeah. And even 5,000 years ago, Gandhari came from Kandhar, which is in Afghanistan, right? So you can see that. That Vedic culture was there, and but it has decreased a lot. And in India, it has remained because it here the Brahmanical culture is protected. Of course, the holy places are there, holy rivers are there, but Brahmanical culture is very much protected. It is shrinking, but we have golden age of 10,000 years of this Hare Krishna movement. So 10,000 years, you can say 10,000 years from now, the golden period. So even if it shrinks, it may not shrink that much. It will actually increase. We will see in 100 years time frame. People will understand. Right now, just a few days back, there was such a great concern of nuclear bomb. You know, getting busted near our borders. Who knows what happens? Prabhupada also in the previous lecture he was giving that these nuclear bombs are there. They will just destroy the skyscrapers and all. So that prediction is there. Somewhere this is going to happen, and then people are going to come to their senses that what. what the hell are they doing? And then they will turn towards the scriptures. It's going to happen like that. In a great calamity, people will turn towards scriptures. They will turn towards Krishna consciousness. No, no, no. Right now we are in Vedic culture. Right now we are still in Vedic culture. Vedic culture is still going on. Okay, in cities it is decreased, but if you go out of cities and go to villages, there are some many mathas and all that. Very nicely it is taken care of, especially the holy places and all. It's nicely going on. Decrease is there, I do agree, but you can expect that increase will happen. But a calamity will make it more strong. And second thing is, if the leader of the society, if the leader of the country becomes Krishna conscious, then it will pick up like anything. You can see na, in last 2 years, because our leader is so dharmic, the Ram Janmabhoomi, I always tell this, people don't know even Ramayana, but something happened to them, and they started walking and doing, taking what lamps in their hands and saying Jai Shri Ram everywhere. Okay, and then the Mahakumbh happened. Mahakumbh is happening every 12 years, every 6 years, every year somewhere or the other, four places it keeps happening. But because of the wave that came out, half of the country went visited. Every version has that thing. Ah, every version will have that thing. Anyway, it comes every 12 years. Okay. But if you see, na, every Kumbh has some days which will be one in 200 years, one in something. Yeah, yeah, because it is astrology, na. You'll always find something. So anyway, my point is, so many people visited, right? But all of them, previously also it happened. But why this time? Because there's a wave of dharma rising. So it's going to happen. Calamity or through, leaders. Luckily, we have good leaders. In some places, there will be calamity. That will be very unfortunate. Anyway, we read this. No, no, okay. Maya Sukhai. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bangalore is all about Maya Sukhaya, right? Every now and then, when the rain happens, then it's like Maya Sukhaya. Everybody comes to know. Okay. That's it. एक this is the exact question you were asking, right? This is the exact question you were asking. So you read now further. Prabhupada will answer you. Wait. In this statement, now, when we think of sinful activity, when we speak of something sinful, when we actually commit sinful. So, in these four yugas, right? In the Sati Yuga, all three were applied: thinking, speaking, committing. But in Kali Yuga, thinking of sinful activity does not lead to any reaction. If we speak or when we commit, then only it is considered sinful. This is something you can say as a special concession to Kali Yuga. Yeah. So thinking. So that's why if we purify our mind, then our thinking will be purified. Then our speaking will be purified. Our we won't commit that particular act. So our mind should be purified, and therefore we need mantra. Now we need such a mantra which will just not just purify the mind, but purify the heart also of all the misgivings. So that's why we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, because it does everything. It roots out the desire to commit sin. It is not an on the level of prayachita. It is above that, and it will bring prema. It will bring love of God. Okay, people do not believe. Yeah, just wait. Speaking the whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said to Arjuna, Yatha ichchesi tatha kuru. Now deliberate on whatever I have said. Think about it from all angles. and then do what you feel. Yata ichchasi tatha bhav. Do what you feel. In this regards, Arjuna said, I will do what you say. Karishya vachanam tava. I will do what you have said. He was very convinced that uh, Krishna has given him the right knowledge, and if he follows that, then he will achieve success. So he said, Karishya vachanam tava. Um, Still a lot of, yeah. So we will stop here. Any questions or comments? Anyone has any question or comment? Yes. Okay. 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 So we'll stop here and we'll meet tomorrow and continue from where we had stopped. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.